Hello, this is Sahura. Today is August 28th, Thursday. We'll be with you to review the economic calendar. As always, first, let's check shortly what we had yesterday. Russian jobless, unemployment rate or joblessness stayed at 2.2%, while the economic growth had some mixing data. Retail sales increased, GDP slightly increased slightly less than expectations by 0.4%, but retail sales increased by 2% on the monthly scale in July. In United States, mortgage rates slightly increased to 6.69, while it was slightly like 0.01 percent, up from 6.68%. So that was kind of surprised the market because we were expecting to see this percentage slightly to slow down to 6.67 or even to 6.66, but it increased to 6.69. That's why the weekly applications also fell by 0.5%. So when the interest rate is higher, applications for sure can fall further. API reports, which we had 2 days ago on Tuesday, showed that the U.S. inventories for the private sector fell by more than almost 100,000 barrels for the week ended August 22nd. And yesterday, we had EIA weekly report as well, which again, that one also confirmed the more than 2 million barrels draw of 2,200,000, almost 2 million, 2.4 million barrels for the same period. That's increased slightly the price of the oil, even thought after that we had pressure on the oil price as the summer demand is getting to its end. In Brazil, the banking lending growth cools to 0.4% as interest rates still high and inflation is still high. In Swiss, we had a ZEW economic expectations fell to 53.8, dip further because as this much more than 2.4% growth previous month. That shows that the Swiss economy also should be still is under pressure. In Germany, consumer confidence fell by 23.6%, and other data we already talked about them yesterday. Generally, the data that we had in the market so far confirmed that economic condition is slightly increasing in most developed and developing economies, but we have some warning or concern to watch, especially about the inflation. So far today, we had a foreign bond buying in Japan fell by 167.2 billion won, down from slightly, up from previous 310 billion decrease or fall, which means that now the Japanese they are less interested in buying the foreign bonds, while the foreigners also had less interested in buying or founding in the Japanese stock market. In Korea, the South Korean central bank held the interest rate at 2.5% so far. In the other data we had that was not so much in Swiss, the GDP increased by 1.2% in the second quarter, down from 1.8% in the previous quarter and 1.4% market expectation. In Turkey, the trade balance fell further, showing that the Turkish economy is still facing much more challenges. Later today, we will not have it too much. We have it too much data to watch, but you're not too much important. We have too many slides like service sentiments, industrial sentiments, consumer confidence sentiment in Alpha this from Eurozone. They are the most important actually among other data. They're the most important data. But generally, the data we have today are not much important data. For Mexico, we're going to have the unemployment rate. But in the United States, where we should focus today, we're going to have the second quarter GDP numbers, the second quarter GDP, which is expected to increase by 3%. The generally, the GDP economic growth and the GDP numbers, they are important for the second quarter. But since tomorrow we're going to have the data for the monthly data, I mean the data for August, that's why probably the market can pay less attention to these numbers. Probably market can pay less attention to these numbers, and as the focus still will be on tomorrow's personal income and spending data on the monthly scale. But still, for the second quarter, PC price index is expected to stay stable around 2.1%, while the core PC price index expected at 2.5%. Still, the 2.5% or 2.50% for core PC price index is still high and higher than central bank target. The average weekly earnings in Canada and labor market data, we're going to have it. That's not like moving the market too much. Yeah, but the natural gas storage also in United States, you're gonna have the storage for the natural gas, and it's expected to increase. Don't forget, we're getting closer to the colder months. That makes usually the sense that the private sector and the government or the sectors both, they're gonna try to increase their inventories as we are getting closer to the colder months, and we're gonna need more gas in winter. Yeah, the pending home sales also supposed to fall by 0.4% in July, slightly better than previous 0.8%, but still in negative territory. That's the most important data we're going to have it today. Take care about your trades. With these trades, still, I mean, as we say that the market reaction, if we want to talk about the market reaction to these data and the market expectations, we can say that, the data shows us still that we should be more cautious, and the market still the more cautious about the possible reaction in the central banks. That's why the US dollar index even thought slightly increased and then fell. Generally, we're in a side movement around the 98. That's what we were talking about and we were expecting. As for the stock markets also, as the stock markets also is the same. I mean, the S&P 500 around 6,400. This is the same numbers, a little slightly higher down, and waiting for more confident, more confirmation from the market. So the market is still cautious, even but still the more counting on the interest rate cut help the CME Group FedWatch Tools expectation to increase to 87%, again up from previous 85%. That's why that helped the Bitcoin price also to increase towards 113,000. But generally, the market is cautious. Probably will be more waiting in a side movement till tomorrow's important data. That was the economic calendar. So for today, be careful about your trades and try to check the calendar before closing or opening any new position. Have a good time. Bye-bye.